Every time someone tries to explain AI engineering, they make it sound like you need a PhD or you need to go back to school and you're left wondering where you even start. So in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to explain exactly what AI engineering is and how to actually break into it. No assumptions, no jargon, just the real stuff. Let's start with what most people get wrong from day one. First, let's talk about the builder versus the researcher there, the distinction between the two. So an AI engineer versus an AI researcher or ML or deep learning researchers. The thing is right now, like 10 years ago, when you need to learn AI, that was the only way you could do it. You have to be on the research side. You have to be able to actually code all the algorithms and build the models from scratch. But now companies aren't hiring people to train models from scratch. Models already exist. They're hiring people who can actually build them, put them together and actually make them do something for a business need. You don't need the math. You need to understand the tools and how to use them. Think of it as someone, for example, who knows how to build a computer. They know how to get the pieces together, like the hard drive, the CPU, the GPU, and put them together and make it work. They don't actually need to know how to build a GPU from scratch or how to build a hard drive from scratch. Those things already exist. They need to put it together so the computer actually executes and do what you want it to do. Let's talk about the core stack that actually matter, the tech stack that you'll be using in today for AI engineering. Right now, the language of that is standard is Python. It's the industry standard. It's pretty much non-negotiable. Yes, you can actually do AI engineering or coding in other languages, and maybe where you work, they might switch to another language specifically, but the standard is Python. You would learn that if you want to understand papers or look at actual like code or APIs with that. Then the actual models are actually built with PyTorch. That is pretty much papers are implementing that. Yes, there was the TensorFlow and other frameworks that are popular, but today it's kind of standardized to use PyTorch mainly because it's very Pythonic, as opposed to older versions of, let's say, TensorFlow. Even TensorFlow 2 is more like PyTorch, but this just became the standard. Next, you want to know LangChain. So basically, this is how you work with LLMs, large language models in real applications. So you need to know that. And actually to be able to deploy them in a real world scenario, Docker and Cloud Basics. So that's learning either AWS, Google Cloud Platform or Microsoft Azure, and how to ship things at scale once you have your models working and actually to be able to deploy it for many people at scale for a company. To be successful, pick a specialization, not just survey or just try out and generalize in many different things. Either it could be computer vision, natural language processing, or in large language models, NLP, LLMs, or time series predictive. Pick something based on your existing domain because you'll understand the pain points, you understand what the definition of success is. Because nowadays, generalists are getting filtered out. Specialists with domain knowledge are getting hired. A company will hire someone that knows their domain and understands how to map AI to it than someone who just knows AI but don't understand the problems they face and they can't map it or basically translate the business needs or basically translate the tech to the business needs for the company and interpret it for them to make sense to non-stakeholders or basically stakeholders to non-tech people so they understand what the implications are so that they make an informed decision. Next is just-in-time learning. AI moves too fast to learn everything up front. By the time you learn something, literally a week later, something new replaces it and takes everything by storm. So for your problem that you're trying to solve, learn what you need to solve that actual problem in front of you, and then you move on. Next is to understand the portfolio problem and recognize the issue with that. Right now, everyone's doing the same tutorial projects, and it looks like everyone else, and companies can tell. It doesn't differentiate from anybody else. Real projects use messy real-world data, and if you want to solve real problems in your domain, you want to actually use data that represents what they're actually doing on a day-to-day basis. And you want to solve problems in a domain you already understand, because at that point, you're going to be linking the actual business needs to the problem and the solution you bring into the table there. And you have to be able to explain that to stakeholders who don't understand AI. But if you understand that domain, you could actually inform them, and so they could actually make an informed decision when it comes to making the decision for the company and the best impact for it. Consider it the next step. If you want the full roadmap, not just concepts, the exact steps, check out the link in the description.